Good day, everyone. It's good to bring you a new story. It's not a new story, it's been around for a while, but this specific article from Sputnik News gives a lot of detail with regards to many things that I'm already aware of, with regards to our president and his dealings, especially his business dealings, and especially when it comes to his election in 2017. And I think it's very important that people understand what actually went down at Nasrec and even before then and subsequently to that. Because when you buy someone with money, you control them, and it's clear that our president is controlled from various places, and I think he's burnt his fingers uh, all over the place right now, and he doesn't know which faction to back within his own party. But what he has done is made sure that his finger is in the pie of many, many different enterprises. So Cyril is making sure that on the money side he's looked after, and because of that, obviously on the political side, you have to play this balancing act. It's like you have this hot ball of steel in your hands and you don't know which hand to actually put it in. But to get into this article, it covers quite a few important things, and Sputnik News is actually fascinating the way they do this article, and I actually like that. As usually, I'll put the link in the description below the video. But please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel. Go and watch the Question Everything and Moments in Time series, especially the first 4 videos in the Moments in Time series, to see what this channel is about. Like I said before, I'm not a normal YouTuber. I try and give people information with regards to their freedom and the future of the world, and I try and give my perspective, and hopefully people will research and understand the perspective that I give. And if you come to one of my meetings, you'll have a much better understanding, and I suggest you attend one of my meetings first and watch those videos before you comment here, because you will have proper context and not look like a fool. So the vaccinations has been such a hotly debated topic, especially amongst the public, most of it uninformed information and decisions, because most of you do not design vaccines, you do not administer vaccines, and yet you sound like you know everything about it because of a lot of things that happens on social media. I have openly stated that I will not take any vaccine unless I was involved in the development of that vaccine, based on things that I experienced and heard myself from vaccine manufacturers in person. And this is my own decision. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've always said this. I believe in the concept of vaccination, but each and every person needs to decide for themselves whether they trust what is happening right now. And if you look, the moment business gets involved and it's not science or medical science anymore, then you need to be worried, because when money goes around, evil lurks underneath, and it's just beneath the surface. And this headline of this article reads: South African president blocked UK and Russian COVID-19 vaccines to help campaign donor. Now, this is where things starts to unravel for Cyril, because most of the people behind the scenes already know what happened during the Nasrec conference where he was elected president. Everyone knew that Dlamini Zuma was the firm favorite, not just the favorite, he actually had the votes. They knew that beforehand, and then money came into play, because at the end of the day, many people can be bought over with money. And someone has actually said to me at one of my meetings, everyone has their price, and I beg to differ. There are people that are different, that don't have their prices, and that'll do things just for the sake of doing them. I believe that I'm one of those, and hopefully there are many others out there. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa reportedly received millions in donations from Aspen Pharmacare. Now, this is reportedly. Obviously, he's allowed to receive donations. This is not illegal, but it's important that people know that this is happening. They are licensed producers of the US firm Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine for his ANC political party in 2017. Now Pretoria has ditched the bought and paid for British Oxford jab for a rival American vaccine. Dirty business, and I don't want to get involved in the dirty business. It's just nice to lay it bare. And I can confirm that this is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. And it's blatantly clear when you actually look at the evidence. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is accused of sabotaging bids to roll out British and Russian COVID-19 vaccines in favor of a firm that reportedly donated to his political campaign. Now this is where the dirt comes out, and eventually the swinging of mud has to end up hitting someone in the face, and I believe that Cyril's going to get a hit very, very soon, because the long knives are out for him. I think he's hitting the end of his road, and either he's going to bow out or he's going to go down fighting. It's going to be interesting to see which one it is. I think he's the bowing down type. I don't think he's the fighting type. I think he's tried to get away with murder for many years, literally. And at this stage, a person can only fight for so long. The Sunday Independent quoted an unnamed official who alleged that the government's U-turn to not deploy 1 million doses of the low-cost AstraZeneca Oxford jab was made to benefit donor Aspen Pharmacare. Aspen has been licensed by US firm Johnson & Johnson to produce its coronavirus vaccine in South Africa. The president announced in his State of the Nation address this week that 80,000 doses are set to arrive next week from a reserve batch currently in Europe, with 500,000 more to follow over the next 4 months. Aspen senior executive Stavros Nicolaou, who personally donated 150,000 to the Ramaphosa's 2017 campaign to run the ruling African National Congress, in addition to the millions from the firm, denied a quid pro quo arrangement. Well, you can deny things like that till you're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, the people will be the judge, not our legal system, the people. But the Johnson & Johnson jab has not yet been approved for use outside clinical trials by South African Health Products Regulatory Authority or any other such body worldwide, leaving its rollout in limbo. Which means that the people that are now getting the Johnson & Johnson's vaccine, many of the healthcare practitioners, you are guinea pigs, you are lab rats. Proefkonyn in Afrikaans. So think about that. We are actually being used as an experiment. Power struggle. Other sources told the outlet that Ramaphosa was deliberately undermining Health Minister Zweli Mkhize, a potential ANC leadership challenger, in politicizing a health emergency by taking vaccine decisions out of his hands. One source claimed that Mkhize favored the Sputnik V vaccine made by Russia's Gamaleya Institute, but had been overruled by the president. Ramaphosa has no respect for Zweli. He treats him like a small child, one said. When the pandemic broke out, the Chinese government approached the minister with a donation of over 1 million personal protective equipment. But the president stopped that donation because it was going to make Mkhize shine. Think about this. Mkhize is certainly making a challenge to become leader of the ANC. So it's wonderful when these people start eating each other alive. The official said the final nail that Ramaphosa hammered into Mkhize's coffin was his choice of Deputy President David Mabuza to lead the government's COVID-19 task force over the health minister. Remember, Mabuza has been very silent for a very long time during the COVID-19 pandemic. Money must have made its way to his pockets. Another source close to Ramaphosa confirmed the rivalry. Remember, David Mabuza was actually in the opposing faction against the Ramaphosa faction. So things are becoming very, very interesting. We all know Zweli has ambitions to be the next president, and he is using every opportunity he gets to campaign instead of looking for vaccines to save lives. Hence, the president stopped him in his tracks. He wasn't snubbed, but redirected to do his job as a government minister. Nasty, nasty. This is wonderful. Vaccine war is the next sub-headline. Meanwhile, a vaccine war has reportedly started between South Africa and fellow BRICS trade bloc member India over the 1 million doses of the Oxford vaccine delivered early this month. After it emerged, they were dated to expire in April. Sources told the City Press that the Director General of Health, Anban Pillai, has refused to pay the Serum Institute of India, which produces the British developed vaccine, under license for the remaining 500,000 doses ordered. They charge 75 Rand per dose for the jabs, including shipping from India. But vaccine deployment had already been halted by the earlier release of results from a study, yet to be peer-reviewed, that claimed it was only 22% effective against the more transmissible 501YV2 strain of the virus, first detected in South Africa. It's interesting that they put in brackets they first detected in South Africa, and remember I said you can read this article, I'll put the link in the description below the video, which means that they're now finding it all over the world. Where did it start, people? Currently causing concern around the world, so people are worried about it. It's only the mainstream media that's worrying about it. I mean, people are identifying gazillions of viruses all the time. This is normal. Professor Shabir Mahdi, who announced the study results last Sunday, and Professor Francois Venter of the University of Witwatersrand said the doses should still be given to those at high risk of the disease. We need to get as many people vaccinated as possible, as fast as possible, Venter stressed. We need to start with the most vulnerable urgently and use the AstraZeneca vaccine immediately on them. South Africa's rejection of the Oxford vaccine, the backbone of the Britain's inoculation of a quarter of its population in 2 months, could also jeopardize the World Health Organization's COVAX scheme to provide vaccines to developing nations, which South Africa is relying on. 1/3 of the 3 billion vaccine doses ordered by COVAX and 4.2 million of those it has pledged to deliver to South Africa are from AstraZeneca. Sputnik still in orbit. This is hilarious. I'm very interested in what's happened in space in the past as well as in the future, so using the name Sputnik, the Russians now to get my attention. Confusion continues to swirl around the government's commitment to securing supplies of the well-proven Sputnik V vaccine, Russian of course. Department of Health spokesperson Lwazi Manzi claimed the government had contacted Russian Ambassador Ilya Rogachev early on about supplying the jab, already in use in 15 countries. We started discussions the moment they announced the intention to develop and trial a candidate, Manzi said. But one official pointed out that neither the Russian embassy's official accounts on social media nor Sputnik official accounts are saying anything about the negotiations. So it's all hush-hush. Earlier this week, the Russian Direct Investment Fund, the agency handling sales of the Sputnik V, confirmed that it was in talks with 2 South African companies for contracts to privately supply the jab, which means these could be private companies like Shoprite, Checkers, any of these Pick and Pay that want to vaccinate all of their workers and force it down their throats. And we'll still see how that pans out in future. Because I believe in freedom of choice. You should decide if you want to take the vaccine or not. And there should be no consequences to your job or anything like that because of it. Otherwise, you're not living in anything that's free. And we know we're not. You're going to see that businesses will just force their staff to do things and or lose their job. And this is why I continuously speak about self-reliance in my meetings. And people will see in the near future why this is not just only vital, but why this is the only way you will survive the future world that we are being forced into. The same report quotes Mkhize as saying a clinical trial had been begun to test the vaccine's effectiveness against the 501Y-V2 variant, although SAHPRA is yet to approve it for general use. Manzi also said the Gamaleya needed to do further work to allay fears about the risk of a human adenovirus-based vaccine in men with HIV. And then they actually carry on with a HIV story, with the fact that 7.7 million men in South Africa actually have HIV, and 20% of the South African population, 1 in 5, are infected with the HIV virus. And the South African government says that they are not in discussions with the Russians at all. Corruption claims, and this is the crux at the end of this article. Ramaphosa is facing a probe into a reported 1 billion rand in donations, you can double that, for his 2017 campaign, which placed him as a de facto presidential candidate in the 2019 general election. They say de facto here because we do not elect our president. The president is elected in parliament, and the MPs in the party with a majority will elect the person of their choice. And this is how Cyril became president, not out of our choice, but with money. The huge pot of donations from sources outside the party was unprecedented in the organization, where US primary style campaigning is unknown. Well, it's known now, when you want Cyril elected, you will do a US primary style event and fund it accordingly from the people that control what happens in our country. And Cyril is the chief puppet in charge. The former lawyer and National Union Mine Workers General Secretary is now numbered among South Africa's 20 richest civilians after a series of executive appointments, including to the board of mineral firm Lonmin, now owned by Swiss mining giant Glencore. Now, when you come to one of my meetings, you will get information on our president. If you actually watch the video on Cyril Ramaphosa, you will see a past that many people are not aware of. That video is now at over 60,000 views. You should please go and watch it. Just go to my channel, type in search Cyril Ramaphosa, and then you will find that video. Please share it with your friends and family. People need to be aware of what's happened in the past. It's just normal basic history. But a lot of people don't understand that this man will take your freedom away while claiming, as I did in my last video, he will claim that he's providing you with freedom and with a republic that is protected by the military that he is the commander-in-chief of. This man is losing his marbles. He's completely and utterly delusional because he did not grow up in a normal backwards society and a difficult upbringing and circumstances of poverty where there is no sewage removal, where there is no toilets, where there is no water supply, where people are neglected, where they are just left to rot by the government, literally. No, Cyril from a very young age got into the hands of Harry Oppenheimer, and he was very well looked after. Obviously, for him to deliver today, and this is exactly what he's doing, he's delivering on his promise. We'll see how long he can continue with this, because the people of South Africa are waking up. We're creating awareness around his past and that he is actually in control. Stop saying that NDZ is in control. This was never the case. Cyril is fully in control of the disaster he is sending this country on. He is sending us on a ship that is sinking, and it's for us to put in the patches, gather the troops, and abandon that ship, create a new ship, build it from scratch, and then we might be able to navigate the difficult seas out there in the world. I thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon to receive notifications for future videos. Please donate to the 00 Days Tour Fund and to keep this channel going. Thank you very much to those of you who've made donations. We need lots more to continue on to KwaZulu-Natal. We're going to hit the garden route now, but we need your support. Without your support, it cannot happen. It's not possible. I thank the people that have donated towards the 200,000 Rand fund for the larger events we're going to host. We've reached over 4,000 Rand now, and hopefully we can increase that next target to 10,000, but 200,000 is the overall target. So I will need those donations, and when they come in, we will organize the first event, and I will inform you as to when and where that will take place. So thank you very much for watching. Till the next video.